Add excitement to your holidays with Ohio Lottery Holiday Scratch-Offs, including $1 holiday cash and $5 holiday lucky times 10, or Holiday Bonus Millions with a 200 times multiplier and a $2 million top prize. Plus, enjoy second chance drawings where you can win 10 times, 100 times, or 1,000 times the price of your ticket. Scratch-offs make the perfect gift, and best of all, there's no wrapping required. Lottery players are subject to Ohio laws and commission regulations. Play responsibly.
Thanks for choosing this free Anfield Index podcast. If you'd prefer to listen to this or any of our other shows without adverts, then now's the time to check out Anfield Index Pro. With AI Pro, you can supercharge your entire listening experience. You'll not only get all of our podcasts without the ads, but you'll have them far faster with our Quick Publish feature available exclusively for subscribers. AI Pro also puts you in the heart of our sound studio, with an option to listen to many of our shows live and interact with the podcasters in real time as the shows are recording. Upgrading couldn't be easier. AI Pro is available on all popular podcast platforms. Just head on over to AnfieldIndexPro.com and get started today.
Hello and welcome to the Daily Red, your lunchtime catch-up on all things Liverpool FC, your daily reminder that the Reds are top of the league and now 9 points clear at the top of the league. Yesterday, Liverpool 2, Manchester City 0, meaning the Reds go from 8 points clear of City to 11 points clear of City, 11 points clear of Brighton, 9 clear of Arsenal and Chelsea, who both won over the weekend. But despite their wins, they gained absolutely no ground. The Reds are looking absolutely sensational, frankly. Joint second best attack in the league. Tottenham have the best with 28 goals scored. Then there's ourselves, Arsenal, Chelsea, and Brentford all on 26. But the big difference comes in the goals against category, where Tottenham, for example, have 14, as do Chelsea and Arsenal, meaning that their goal differences are plus 14 for Spurs, plus 12 for Chelsea and Arsenal. But ours is plus 18 because we've only conceded 8 goals this season through 13 Premier League matches, which is a fairly staggering record, frankly. Given what we looked like last year defensively, you're looking at a team that conceded 41 goals last year through 38 games. The season before, when, we were a mess, we conceded 47 goals. Even going back to 2021, the season where everybody got injured, we conceded 42 goals. To only have conceded 8 this year, to be well on track for like mid-20s conceded, which is in line with what we did in 22-23, conceding only 26 goals in the league. It's better than the pace we had in 1920 when we won the league, though the 33 goals we conceded that year is a bit of a false number because we had by far the best defensive record up until the comeback from COVID, really, because we had the title won. So we didn't have the same kind of urgency. It's a shame in some ways that we couldn't have kept that urgency, because we would have broken the points record. We would have sailed past the 100-point mark. And we would have had another season with, 20 odd goals conceded. Our benchmark remains that incredible 18-19 campaign where we only conceded 22 in the league. Now, this season, we're on track for about 23. So we're thereabouts with that one. But, we do have a lot of away games against top teams to come up. So you might expect a couple of goals to be conceded in some of them. Through 20 games under Arne Slot, we've only allowed 2 or more goals in 3 games. And in fact, 2 or more goals in 3 games. And nobody has scored more than 2. It's Brighton in the league a game we won. Sorry, Brighton in the Cup, a game we won. Southampton in the league, a game we won. And Arsenal in the league, which is a game, obviously, that we drew. We've scored at least 2 in 17 of our 20 games as well, which shows that we're right now elite at both ends. And if we want to put that down to individuals, we can, and we can discuss them. But I do think massive credit has to go to Arne Slot. I think he is doing a phenomenal job. And there's a lot of people trying to make out that Arne is a better coach than Jurgen. And look, he might be. We don't know. Jurgen's record is incredible. What we know is he's a better coach than Pep and Linders. And there's growing evidence from watching us and watching Red Bull Salzburg that suggests that for the last couple of years, Pep and Linders was very much the head coach at Liverpool, and Jurgen was in more of a general manager type of role. And if you look back at some of the comments that were made by different people, including Pep and Linders, including Jurgen himself, and including Jörg Schmadtke, it does kind of point at that, where Jurgen was still the boss, but he was allowing Linders to really have a lot more control than he probably warranted. And when we see that, Red Bull Salzburg are not having the best of seasons, it doesn't take a genius to work out that he probably wasn't ready for such a role. I mean, they're currently 7th in the Austrian Premier League. Now, they do have 2 games in hand, but through 13 games played, they've only scored 17, which is problematic. They've conceded 17 as well, so goal difference of 0. So they're conceding over a goal a game at a similar, not maybe a little bit worse pace than we had last year. Even with those 2 games in hand, if they were to win both of them, which seems unlikely, they haven't won any of the last 5 league matches. If they were to win both of them, they would still be 8 points behind Sturm Graz. They would still only be 4th in the league, 3 points behind Rapid Vienna, 6 behind, 2 points behind Rapid Vienna, 5 behind Austria Vienna, and 8 behind Sturm Graz. So they are miles off the pace, and their Champions League campaign has been a pretty big disaster for them. They won at Feyenoord. They've been walloped a couple of times. So Arne is a much better coach than Linders right now. Now, that's not to say that in time, Pep and Linders might develop into as good a coach as Arne. It seems like a lot of his problems are communication as well, and maybe having ideas that are a little too scattered and not tuned in enough. Whereas with Arne, it's all just like, I used the term shapeshifter on social media last night, and I don't mean in terms of the actual shape changing. I mean in terms of his approach changing. So I rewatched, one of the reasons I'm late today, there's a couple of reasons. Number one, I was watching the Gary Neville podcast just to enjoy how miserable he looked talking about the Reds being 9 points clear. Another reason, I was finishing off my Christmas shopping to get that out of the way. But I also rewatched the game this morning because I wanted to watch it again because we were so good. The first 25 minutes is the best 25 minutes I've seen from a Liverpool team in years. But it was peak class Liverpool. It was 18-19, 19-20 again. Absolutely incredible football. High tempo, aggressive, heavy metal football. Just swamping them, giving them no relief. And we should have been multiple goals up. Then from 25 to the half-time mark, we played like prime Manchester City, where we slowed the game down to a pace we were comfortable with. We allowed them some of the ball in areas we were happy with them having the ball. We took it off them as and when we pleased, and we could either cut through them or we could control the ball and keep the ball ourselves. We come out for the second half, and it's like watching Jose Mourinho's Chelsea, the first team, the 04 to 07 variant that won 2 league titles and an FA, and I think an FA Cup and multiple league cups, and would have won 3 league titles if not for injuries. We allowed them to have the ball, and we didn't allow them to create a thing. Not a thing. And then the last sort of 20 minutes of the game, we went back to playing kind of like Pep City. Arna's ability to have us playing at an elite level in multiple different ways is just incredible. This early in his tenure. Like, it doesn't matter what we're doing it at a really, really high level. Whether we have the ball and we're just keeping it and just dictating play, whether we're carving through teams, whether we're letting teams have the ball and just setting into a defensive shape, we're just functioning at an incredible level. And again, 20 games in to Arne Slot's tenure. You know, Mikel Arteta is in full season number 5. He also had half a season before that. Arne hasn't even completed that half season, and yet he has this team playing at a significantly higher level than Arteta has Arsenal playing. And Arteta has spent £800 million, or thereabouts. Arne has spent 10 million on a player who has barely played yet. The guy was created in a lab. I don't know what people want. He was created in a lab where bits of all the best managers were just cloned into one super manager. And this cyborg appears out with the shiny bald head and an affable manner. And the guy's a genius. The guy is a fucking genius. I don't know what people want to hear. He's an absolute genius. It's incredible. And you start to think of, where can this get to? What can this man achieve? I think it was it Alex Mansfield I saw tweet this yesterday, that in Arsene Wenger's 20 years at Arsenal, he had one period of 20 games with 18 wins and 1 draw and 1 defeat. That's the best run of Wenger's entire tenure. 20 years, did it once. Arna's been here 20 games, he's already done it. It's better than any run that Arteta's ever had, who's 5.5 years in at Arsenal. It's ludicrous. It is absolutely ludicrous what the man is doing. And he's not doing it alone, it should be pointed out. Queeving Kelleher has stepped into the breach with Ali out. Ali is the best in the world. We know this. Queeving has stepped into the breach in Ali's absence. And the biggest compliment I can pay Queeving is that we haven't missed Alisson at all. We haven't missed him at all. I would still want Alisson back in because he's Alisson. I think he does offer more in terms of controlling his penalty area than Queeving does, but Queeving's been outstanding and will make us an absolute ton of money come next summer. I really want Newcastle to buy him. I do. The more I think about it, I really want him to go to Newcastle. I think that's a club that are on the up. It's a huge fan base. They're a great fan base as well. They're starved for any kind of success up there. I would love Queeving Keller to go to Newcastle. I think he's a really good successor for Nick Pope. I think he's a similar level shot stopper, but he's better with his feet. And I thought he was good with his feet yesterday. Pinged out some nice balls. Thought Trent had a good game. played some outrageous passes. The ball to Mo, the two balls to Mo, disgusting. Joe came in, was excellent. The biggest compliment you can pay him is we didn't miss Ibu. And Ibu's the second best central defender in the league. And Joe Gomez stepped in, and it was like he'd been playing there this entire run. And he was pinging passes. Well, he played two outrageous long balls himself. We'll come back to Virgil. Robbo was very good yesterday. Aggressive, front-footed, calm in his defending, though. Nothing silly from Robbo yesterday, which was great. Gravenberch was good. Had a good game. Thought he was aggressive. The yellow card he took was unnecessary, but I'm glad to see he's learning, because there's been a few opportunities this season, and last weekend is the prime example of this, where that's the type of yellow card he should have taken and didn't. And it either allowed the opposition a chance, or in last weekend's situation, won them a penalty. As the defensive midfielder, you need to foul sometimes. You just do. And last weekend, he didn't foul Tyler Dibbling. And he left Robbo on an island. This weekend, I think he could have gotten back goal side of Ilkay Gundogan. He's not quick. But he took the foul, he took the yellow card, and it didn't faze him. If you watch him against Real Madrid, when he gets that yellow card, which is a silly yellow card to get, it completely rattles him defensively. And for the remainder of the first half, he was shocking defensively. Absolutely shocking. He was late to everything. He was hesitant. And they were just drawing him in and playing around him. And everything decent they did in that first half in the week came from Gravenberch being a half second late or hesitant. Yesterday, there was none of that. He was really, really good. Alexis was great. He was great. He just gives us a level of maturity in midfield. His decision-making is so good. When and where to play the ball, just different class. And he's always willing to take the ball in under pressure. He buys a great free kick as well. Szoboszlai was unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. I thought it in the first watch. I think it even more so after the second watch. He was unbelievable. That was the Dom that first arrived at Liverpool. The only thing missing from his performance was a goal. But his passing was good. His decision-making was good. He was brave on the ball. He was aggressive with the ball. And off the ball, he was just insane. Like, as good a performance off the ball as I can remember seeing from a Liverpool player. In the front three, Cody starts left wing. He gets his goal. He caused Kyle Walker problems all game long. Walker couldn't figure him out at all. And Cody was really smart with so much of what he did. We were lofting balls at Cody, who had the height advantage on Kyle Walker, but Kyle Walker is a good athlete and he has a good spring. But Cody wasn't jumping to win the headers. Cody was jumping just to take Kyle Walker out and let the ball drop beyond, and then he was picking that ball up and running and forcing Walker to sprint after him. And he had a lot of joy out there. Lucho worked his arse off. Absolutely outstanding off-ball performance from Luis Diaz. And then he added a couple of really nice moments on the ball. But when he went left wing, he had even more joy. Because Walker had gotten so tuned in on what Gakpo was going to do, that when Diaz went out there, when Cody came off and Darwin came on, Walker then had to readjust his game for Diaz and he couldn't cope with him. We'll come back to Mo. Darwin came on. He was really good. He was really good. Vital in the second goal. Worked his arse off. Made a brilliant tackle in our box, and Virgil was the first to make sure he knew that it was a great tackle. Got the crowd going again. The atmosphere for the first 35 minutes was incredible. And then it kind of settled into just, a standard atmosphere. But when Darwin came on, you could feel the energy going again. because him and Diaz were just running them down constantly and ensuring that they got no piece to play out from the back. Jarrell Quansah came on for Trent, came on at right back, which I don't think anybody would have expected. But again, the mad scientist that is Arne Slot had a look at the situation and thought, and I like this because I've said this for years. One thing I really don't like is when you make two changes to make one change. And what I mean by that is if Quansah had come on at centre-back, Joe Gomez has to go to right-back. So now you're changing both right-side centre-back and right-back. But by bringing Quansah on at right-back, Joe stays in the centre. Joe knows he needs a bit more help, so he can cheat out a little bit and help. He knows Virgil's got Erling Haaland in his pocket. Joe was so good. But Quansah came on, thought he did well defensively, and he was good on the ball. Looked really comfortable out there. So credit to him. Curtis came on, and it was party time. Lovely flicks and tricks, but all wrapped up in the usual Curtis Jones, ball security, and unbelievable work rate. Even in the 11 or 12 minutes he was on the pitch, unbelievable work rate. And then Harvey came on, and he wasn't on for long, but he ran his socks off the time he was on the pitch. He had a couple of nice little interchanges. Was clever, held his position wide left. Everybody, to a man, everybody was great. Everybody. But the two we need to highlight are Mo and Virgil. So Mo gets the assist on the first and scores the penalty. He did miss a 1v1, but we'll forgive him that. His work rate was tremendous. I saw this on Sky, I think it was, during the debate they were having. Well, not a debate. Nobody was suggesting that it wouldn't be a matter of Liverpool giving Mo Salah a new contract. It was more this idea of, well, you know, is there a decline? So, attacking stats, Mo Salah is averaging 0.87 goals per game under Arne Slot. Under Jurgen Klopp, it was 0.67. Now, obviously, Jurgen, it's a lot more games, but still, it's a significant uptick to go up, you know, basically 20%. That's immense. Goal involvement, so goals and assists, 1.42 per game. 0.97 under Jurgen, which is still ridiculous. But to be up almost 50% is incredible. Percentage of shots on target, 70%, up from 59%. That shows he's getting the ball in better areas and the shots are more favourable to him. And then dribble success, which is a big one. He was at 44% under Jurgen, which is still pretty good. He's at 53% dribble success now, which is elite. But then they pointed the physical stats, right? So we're seeing large increases in those attacking stats. 20%, 45%, 11%, 9%. Pressures in the final third. He's at 10 a game. He was at 12 a game under Jurgen. So there's a drop there. Runs. He was making 27 a game under Jurgen. It's 21 under Arne. Accelerations, 80 a game under Jurgen, 71 under Arne. And then sprints, 17 a game under Jurgen, 15 under Arne. Now, the big ones there where there's a sizable gap is runs and accelerations. There's little in, you know, pressures and sprints. That tells me that that's Arne Slot altering how Mo works on and off the ball. Where we're getting him the ball, what we're asking him to do, and then what we're doing off the ball in terms of Mo. And I think we're seeing more this season with Gravenberch playing right side of the midfield and Dom in that 10 or Curtis in that 10. They're going out to the right more than they are, well, than say Dom or Curtis and Alexis are going out to the left. Diaz or Cody are being tasked with, you press that right back, you press that right side centre back. If need be, you press that goalkeeper. You don't see Mo really pressing centre backs or the keeper as much. You're seeing Dom and Gravenberch back him up a lot more. So there's more of a blanket press to the right and an individual press to the left. And it's enabling Mo to pick and choose his moments. And he's performing at a ridiculous level. So Bleacher Report decided to tell a lie after Arsenal beat West Ham. And that lie was that no player had more goal involvements in the Premier League than Bukayo Saka. At that time, Mo Salah had one more than Saka. And now Mo has three more than Bukayo Saka. Then there's this stat. Most games with a goal and an assist in Premier League history. After yesterday, Mo Salah is now on 36. Wayne Rooney was the previous record holder on 35. Now, there's two reasons this is incredible. The first and foremost reason is that Mo, primarily, 95% of his games have been out wide. Wayne Rooney, probably 92% of his games came as a 9 or a 9.5/10. But the second and biggest reason is that Wayne Rooney played...
I don't need a VPN. I've got nothing to hide. Ha. This is what I used to tell myself before I hooked up with LibertyShield.com. Not only is my home internet now fully encrypted, but I can now access all the websites I want, whenever I want, and do so from absolutely anywhere. As a Liverpool fan, I love to know I can now watch every match, regardless of whether it's on UK TV or not. My Liberty Shield VPN makes sure nothing is blocked and guarantees me super fast streaming speed throughout that match. You can get connected right now with their software package, which includes a 48-hour no-obligation free trial and instant access to their apps for Apple, Android, Fire TV, PC, Mac and Android TV. Or go a step further like I have and get one of their pre-configured VPN routers. These small but powerful devices allow you to easily connect every device in your home to VPN, making it the perfect solution for smart TVs, Mac boxes and games consoles. Visit LibertyShield.com today and use coupon code AIVPN25 to get 25% off at checkout.
393 Premier League games for Manchester United. 67 for Everton in the first round. That's 460 games. And then 31 the second time around, which is 491 Premier League matches. 491 Premier League matches for Wayne Rooney. Mo has played 263 for us and 13 for the Ev. Sorry, for Chelsea. The Ev. For Chelsea. That's 267. That's 215 less games. 215 less games. And he has more games with a goal or assist. He's also, quietly not that far behind Rooney in total Premier League goals. Not an uncatchable amount. Mo has 168. Rooney has 208. So he's 40 behind. If Mo signs a 2-year extension, Mo will pass Wayne Rooney in Premier League goals. Between the rest of this season, next season, the year after, I think Mo would pass Wayne Rooney in Premier League goals. If he signed another 1-year extension, then maybe after that, it would be a wrap. But like, this is the type of historic stuff that Mo Salah is doing. And as I'm speaking, I've just got a notification from The Athletic, which says, written by Simon Hughes, Mo Salah open to 1-year Liverpool contract extension, frustrated at the club's handling of talks. Mo Salah would accept a new 1-year contract at Liverpool, but is growing increasingly exasperated at the club's handling of negotiations. The forward is still waiting for Liverpool to reveal its position in relation to the length and terms of any potential deal, amid interest from top European clubs in signing him in a free transfer at the end of the season. The Egyptian international has not entered any discussions with other clubs. His contract does not permit him to, but that will change from January 1st, when Salah is entitled to sign a pre-contract agreement with a club outside of England. The Athletic has spoken to multiple sources with knowledge of the current situation. I love that. Like, that's straight out of the ESPN handbook. This is something ESPN have been doing, like sources with knowledge of the situation, sources who remain anonymous to protect relationships, sources who spoke without permission under the promise of anonymity. Love this kind of stuff. Who spoke on the condition of anonymity owing to confidentiality in talks. Liverpool declined to comment. A report in L'Equipe on Sunday linked Salah with Paris Saint-Germain, but the French champions have denied they are in talks. Liverpool have consistently maintained that negotiations with Salah through his agent have been positive and are still ongoing, but Salah is frustrated at the pace of the talks and unconvinced the club will meet his expectation on terms. After helping Liverpool defeat Southampton last month, he said he was probably more out than in and disappointed that a formal contract offer had not been made. The forward's priority is to extend his stay at Anfield, and he is agitated. He's not agitating to leave. Even in that interview after the Southampton game, he was at pains to stress his love for Liverpool. Yet he also believes he's amongst the best players in the world, that the terms of a new contract should reflect that status at his performance level this season. Salah has scored 13 goals in Liverpool's 20 games across all competitions, as well as delivering 11 assists. His latest contribution were his penalty and his assist for Cody Gakpo. The results sent Liverpool 9 points clear, 11 points ahead of City, yada yada. His current contract makes him the highest paid player in Liverpool history. In 2022, he agreed a 3-year contract that was widely reported to be worth £350,000 a week in basic salary, but Salah earns well in excess of that, particularly once performance-related bonuses are taken into account. Salah believes he is approaching his peak. Muckle is just getting warmed up and will maintain his levels. He is desperate to win the Premier League and Champions League with Liverpool this year. He will be aged 33 next summer and does not think that will be a barrier to also achieving his ambition of winning the Ballon d'Or. Until this year, when it was awarded to Rodri at the age of 28, it had not been won by a player under the age of 31 since 2015, when Lionel Messi, who was 28 at the time, won the award. Well, that can't be right, because who won it? Cristiano won it in 2016. Oh, yeah, he was. Yeah, no, that's right. He would have been 31. Until the start of the season, Mo was not approached by Liverpool to extend his deal at any point since 2022. And that is where the blame needs to sit firmly on the people that left in the summer, because they had 2 years to get going on this and didn't do a tap. In the summer of 2023, Liverpool turned down a £150 million bid from Al Ittihad. Written by Simon Hughes. Give the guy his fucking contract. And I don't want to hear more from James Carragher about, you can't just give him what he wants. Of course he can. Of course you can. You absolutely can. After this level of performance for this long, this is year 8 of this. This is not year 1 or year 2. We're not waiting to see if he can sustain this. And if you give him a 3-year deal, as I've said a dozen times, maybe the last year bites in the ass. Maybe it does. But there's little to no chance the first 2 years of that 3-year deal would be anything less than rewarding for all parties. And if that final year is only rewarding to Mo Salah, you'd have had 10 years before that at, believe me, below what he's worth. If his basic is 350,000 a week, I don't know what his bonuses would be, but let's say he's earning 500,000, 600,000, whatever. Cristiano Ronaldo's currently playing in Saudi Arabia, earning millions a week. Millions. Messi was earning $1 million a week at Barcelona for like 6 years. Neymar is currently earning about $1 million a week, maybe more. He doesn't play, so it's a lot more. Erling Haaland is earning a reported 850 grand a week at City, including his bonuses. KDB is believed to be on similar money. Give them their contracts. Give it to him and give it to Virgil. And if the last year hurts, the last year hurts. But look at the way they're playing. It's not that Mo is showing signs of dropping off. He's showing signs of improving. He's showing signs of improving. You are 13 games into this season, and he's on 11 goals and 7 assists. It's ridiculous. It's utterly ridiculous. And the fella at the back is doing the same thing. He was unbelievable yesterday. He made 1 error, right? 1 error. He tried to Cruyff turn or whatever the fuck against KDB, and he made a mess of that, and Queeving bailed him out. That's 2 seconds out of 94 minutes. For the other 93 minutes and 58 seconds, he put on a 10 out of 10 masterclass in how to play the centre-back position. Like a tutorial that should be burned onto the internet and never, ever removed. And all young centre-backs should be told, watch this and watch it again until you start to learn what level of genius this is. I said this last night. I'm going to say it again. Virgil van Dijk is the best centre-back the game has ever seen. He is the best centre-back the game has ever seen. If you look across the board at every aspect of being a central defender, Virgil is a minimum of a 9 out of 10. Every single aspect. There is no other centre-back in history that can say that. So Franco Baresi is the guy I would have always said it was the best centre-back ever. Franco Baresi was not a 9 or 10 in the air. He just wasn't. He wasn't a 9 or 10 as a passer. He might be a 10 in terms of leadership, where Virgil might be a 9. But Virgil's a 10 in 1v1 defending, whereas Baresi was a 9. And the other thing that makes me put Virgil at the top of the list is that you can, if you were to take any player from any position, right, and look at the players who played in their position across the last, let's say, 70 years. So we go back to the mid 1950s, which is kind of the birth of modern football with that incredible Hungarian team. There are attacking players who could play in any era. There's midfield players who could play in any era. There's very few central defenders across history that could play in any era, right? It's a small number. I can only think of one who could play in any era, in any style, and in any team, and be elite. I can't imagine Franco Baresi playing in Tony Pulis's Stoke in the mid-2000s. Maybe as a right back, but not as a centre-back. I can't imagine the much vaunted, massively overrated John Terry playing in Pep Guardiola's Barcelona, in Ange Postecoglou's Tottenham Hotspur. I just can't see it. Can't see it at all. He would get destroyed in the high line. But Virgil van Dijk could play in any era, any style of play, any team, and be elite. There is no team in history that isn't improved by taking Virgil and putting him in that team. The two best club sides, universally, Pep's Barcelona, Saki's Milan. You take Costa Curta out, an all-time great, take him out and put Virgil in, that team is better. You take Gerard Piqué out, a very good centre-back in his prime, and put Virgil in, that team is significantly better. You take the best international team of all time, the Spanish team that won 3 in a row, you put Virgil in for any of the centre-backs, that team improves. You put him in this Argentina team that's just won 3 in a row, and it's improved immeasurably. Virgil improves any single team and could play any single style for any manager at any time in history. And there's not one other centre-back I can think of. Because you could look at Jaap Stam and say, well, with his physicality and size and speed, he could play in a high line, or he could play in a deep block and he'd be, dominant in the air and all that kind of stuff. But Jaap Stam can't do what Virgil does on the ball. Jaap has a lot of the same physical attributes as Virgil, but on the ball, where Virgil's like a 9 out of 10 passer, Jaap Stam's a 5 out of 10 passer. Do you know? We've never seen anything like this. No, your favourite centre-back is not better than this guy. He just isn't. I don't care who he is. I don't care when he played, who he played for. He's not better than this guy. This version of Virgil, right now, that we're watching and that we watched last season, is the best centre-back to ever play in the Premier League. And this isn't the best version of Virgil. That will be 18 to 20 pre-ACL. That Virgil reached a level no centre-back has gotten to. The gulf between him and the next best guy in the Premier League is probably about the same as the gulf between whoever that guy is, in your opinion. If it's John Terry or Rio Ferdinand, get new opinions. But if you're, looking at a Paul McGrath, a Tony Adams, a Jaap Stam, a Ricardo Carvalho, a Sol Campbell, truly great centre-backs, the gulf between Virgil and them is about the same between them and number 10 on the list. It just is. He is levels clear of everybody in the Premier League. And globally, there just isn't. Alessandro Nesta, I always thought was the perfect centre-back. I would always say Baresi was the best, but Nesta was the perfect centre-back. 6'2", 6'3", good in the air, great on the floor, good passer, but not a great passer. He's not a 9 out of 10 passer. He's not 9 out of 10 in the air. Barezi's 5 out of 10 in the air. You know, this is, when you look at every aspect of being a central defender, there's nothing Virgil's not elite at. Nothing. And someone said to me yesterday, oh, but like, he doesn't show enough urgency. Alessandro Nesta never showed a hint of urgency in his entire life. Not in his life. Alessandro Nesta could be on a boat and somebody could fall into shark-infested waters and Nesta could jump in, rescue them, and get back out, and there wouldn't be a drop of water on him. He just looked perfect, preened. The greats make it look easy, and it's oftentimes it's in part a blessing, in part a curse. There are players who are not great, but have aesthetics, who get overrated into great status. There are players who are great, who just make it all look so easy that people think, oh, well, what do they actually do? You know, like when you see people bring up numbers suggesting that, you know, Nemanja Vidic is better than Virgil because he had more blocks and the like. And then you look at Virgil's longevity. Best in the league at Southampton, 15-16. Best in the league at Southampton, 16-17. Misses the back end of that season, but he'd been incredible up to that point. Misses the start of the next season. And then his form is a bit up and down because he wants to leave. And he had a deal agreed to go to join us. And it all got blown up. He knew he was leaving. Like, he knew he was leaving in January. So he wasn't going to risk getting hurt again. He joins us. He's the best in the league the rest of that season. He's the best in the league 18-19, 19-20. Misses 2021 with the knee injury. He's the best in the league in 21-22. 22-23 is the only season that Virgil has played since 15-16 that he wasn't the best centre-back in the Premier League. No one else has that type of longevity. So when people talk about Rio and Terry and Vidic and all of these others and talk about the longevity, none of them can match Virgil's longevity. Not as the best centre-back in the league. He was the best last year. He's the best this year. And it's not even close. I mean, the only guy who can even see him is Ibu. All the rest of them are levels behind. Levels and levels and levels behind. Like, you want to talk about William Saliba. He's not as good a passer as Virgil. Not nearly as good a passer. He's doesn't organise a defence. Doesn't read the game as well as Virgil. Has to rely on his pace to get him into trouble. He's sloppy on the ball at times. He's crap in the air for his size. Crap for his size. Virgil's a freak of nature. Like, him and Mo, whatever they want. I don't care what Carragher has to say. Whatever they want. Like, these are the best players in the world in their positions, among the top 5 or 6 ever in the Premier League. Among the top 5 or 6 players to ever play in the Premier League. Give them whatever they want. Because they're not slowing down. And yesterday was proof of that. If it was needed, yesterday was proof of that. The two of them. Virgil Erling Haaland is universally seen as the best striker in the league. Virgil had a much higher XG than him yesterday. Like, Virgil was a bigger attacking threat in the game than Erling Haaland was. That's how much he diminished Erling Haaland's threat. He destroyed them. He absolutely destroyed any attacking ideas they had. On to AnfieldIndex.com. There is a piece about that athletic piece on the Mo Salah contract. That's quick. Van Dijk proves why he's Liverpool's irreplaceable leader. There's a piece about Milos Kerkez, a piece about the game yesterday. There is a new podcast YouTube show coming out Gags Tandem and Grizz Khan Chat G&G, which is a play on words, obviously. But yeah, that is going to be new. That is Thursdays at 7:30, so make sure you check that out. There is a new episode of the Fatigue Index, and it is reuniting Simon Brundish and the brilliant Marty Loughran. Great to have Marty back, discussing the pathology of ACL tears and rehab, so make sure you listen to that. There's a David Lynch podcast. Nina and Ben's Final Whistle is out. There's Post-Match Raw. There's the post-game press conferences. If you haven't watched the YouTube stuff, make sure you go over to YouTube, at youtube.com/Anfield Index, and check out Jack's watch-along. You can watch that there. You can watch the Gags Tandon show. Rhodesy's tactical show will be up there as well, so make sure you watch that. We have lots of great content. We do, genuinely, with lots of great content. So check it all out and get a Blue Sky account. Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
We hope you enjoyed listening to this Anfield Index show. Please be sure to subscribe to our channel so future podcasts find their way to your device automatically. There's nothing quite like fan engagement, and we'd love to know what you think of anything discussed on this show. The best way to get in touch is over on our free Discord community, where both podcasters and listeners debate the hottest LFC topics 24/7. Sign up free now at AnfieldIndex.com/Discord. You won't regret it. You can also follow us on Twitter at Anfield Index and find us on Facebook by searching for Anfield Index. Oh, and before you go, we'd love it if you could leave us a 5-star review on your favourite podcast app. It only takes a couple of seconds, and it means the world to the people who create these free shows.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.